Okay, abusua makwa abaso so erba Ghana politics avenue so abusua yembonra yensem ECOWAS High Court suspended Chief Justice Torkonoo and say ehono de na asem ne kokopie na ode kopie mu no back and forth ama suspended Chief Justice Torkonoo nioma bubono ewo ho a enye asem keto akra na ene yada sorry ya ECOWAS High Court judges no omo ababe on maxi some secrets be against suspended Chief Justice Torkonoo omo che say ne appointment krampa appointing no as Chief Justice of Supreme Court of Ghana no abusia sa appointment na mistake na enye emrakwan so na ye fire ye de appointed Chief Justice Torkonoo as Chief Justice of Supreme Court as see ano ECOWAS judges for ababe drop is exposing against Chief Justice Torkonoo momi yanko na yankonkoti ensema course Dr. Tony Edu ababe drop more fearless momi yanko na yankonkoti unsubscribe ya subscribe like na share ma afofron so ensa into me and kabi Ghana politics avenue so madam say
is one woman warrior. But nonetheless, it's the phenomenon itself that is disturbing. The phenomenon.
Doc, like I said, I'll conclude on this because I recall vividly my producer was just drawing my attention that he said I was supposed to get in touch with you on this, but it's a matter that's still in the public domain. The CJ's new venture, she's moved to the ECOWAS court, seeking the same thing, justice, that they should give her $10 million among.
Doesn't he know that international jurisdiction recognizes the sovereign of independent members of a treaty, especially one that deals with human rights, that you must exhaust local remedies before you go over your country's border to seek or remedy elsewhere. And she herself has filed processes in court which haven't come to an end. And then you go and pile up another one at the international level. The ECOWAS court will not tolerate this kind of behavior because exhausting your local remedies is a cardinal principle of the court. And it is also contained in traditional international law. This is not just ECOWAS being characterized by it. If there is going to be an exception, it should be shown by evidence that local remedy is not available or is unwilling to deal with your case. But you keep filing processes and you keep losing. You see, what she is doing is that she is aware that she may lose her job. And therefore, she won't go quietly. She wants to take Ghana down with it. If that is the case, then she wasn't even good as a Chief Justice. Assuming that she wins these cases and get her post back, how is she going to relate to the executive? Only president, better Addo. You know why we make this bro about Addo? Because such a little animal and the skin cannot take more than two people, one person. Eh? She must exhaust local remedies first. And some of her defenses, they are so far-fetched. Bad law. I don't understand. In first response before the prima facie case was established, she took on the defense of res judicata, that Professor Azar was the one who petitioned first, and that case has been disposed of. But the doctrine of res judicata says that when an initial issue has been taken through procedure to the point of finality, the person cannot be tried for the same offense. Professor Asari's petition was not carried to finality. It did not even pass the hurdle of prima facie. Akuffo Addo considered it as unmeritorious. So he did not even bother to institute a committee, the Judicial Committee of 5. It died halfway, which means the point of finality of proceedings had not been reached. So you still cannot use res judicata as your defense. All these are so obvious. Law 101. And you, a woman who has practiced law for more than 20 years, cannot see through it. This appointment was even a mistake from the beginning, because she doesn't appear to know the law.
She doesn't appear to know the law.
Yes. Otherwise, why this case at ECOWAS? What does he want ECOWAS to do? Overlook the principle of exhaustion of local remedies and deal with your case?
But you also talked about the fact that she's taken this to, I think, the Supreme Court, and
yes,
she lost the case. So at least you could say that I've been to the highest.
She filed a writ for review. A review at the High Court. So she's still pursuing local remedy. And your local remedy hasn't come to an end, and you go to an international court.
But there are those who suggest that that's not necessarily a requirement, that you can still file if you're still pursuing some here.
In very exceptional cases, where the local court has declined jurisdiction, then you can go to the international court. Or when you've got a judgment that you think is not fair to you. It's just like taking a case from the High Court to the Appeals Court and from the Appeal Court to the Supreme Court.
Well, Doc, thank you.
Yes, and I thank you very much. Our country, we have problems, so we have real problems. Let me take this opportunity to repeat what I've been saying about the Galamsey. President Mahama, please fight the Galamsey convincingly. Otherwise, you will destroy the goodwill that Ghanaians gave you and the NDC. And 2028 will be a Herculean task for Ghanaians if you don't fight this Galamsey. Put 2 battalions into the jungle, the reserve forest, and flush them out. And I'm finished.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc. Who is the Minister of State in charge of government communications, raising some questions, in fact, discussing the audit reports that was conducted by Deloitte and Touch. In fact, I recall vividly when the audit report came out, the only thing we saw from the National Cathedral Board was that they had received the audit report, and that audit report had cleared them of any wrongdoing. By the time, nobody knew what was in the report because they are the ones who sanctioned, the board sanctioned the audit. So it's the first time that perhaps most of us are getting an insight into the things that were contained in the audit report. James Kobina Bonfair, popularly known as Kabila. Okay. We're trying to get James Kobina Bonfair on the line because I recall vividly he went to court on the same matter. But we have, luckily for us, Dr. Tony Edu. Dr. Tony Edu is former Ghana ambassador to the Netherlands. Doc, good morning, and thank you very much for your time.
Oh, good morning, Senator. How are you?
I am doing. I hope you are too.
I am.
Great. And nice to speak to you. First, let's start with your own reaction to this matter of the National Cathedral and the steps that have been taken by the president. Are they in order for you?
Nothing about the cathedral has been in order for anybody. This is the greatest harm ever perpetrated on the people of this country. A person says he made a pledge, private pledge to God. Nobody was there. There was no pre-election commitment. And he says that I pledge to build a cathedral for God when I'm re-elected. Nobody was there. And then he started using state property, state resources. I recall when Kabila took the matter to the Supreme Court, the government then defended this action on the basis that there was going to be no public funds apart from seed money and the provision of a site for the cathedral. Now we've ended up spending already $97 million plus the possible compensation we will have to pay to persons whose property were destroyed to make way for the cathedral. The whole cathedral issue, from the site to those who were involved, constitute a crime scene. The president has a criminal conduct case to respond to. We are going to operate democratic responsibility and accountability. This president, Akuffo, must not get away with the scam that he had perpetrated on Ghana.
So I'm guessing nothing about what you read and what you've heard from your government, Minister of State in charge of government communications, surprise you?
What I've heard from the government, you mean in terms of what Phyllis Ofosukwati put to the public domain?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, from the audit report.
Yeah. He also said there was going to be a follow-up forensic report.
Yes.
Forensic
Yeah.
means the aspects of the Deloitte and Touch audit, which are not in detail, will then be detailed by the forensic report. That's what I understand it to be. And I'm not surprised, because throughout the period of Okujeto Blackwood has been updating us about the rot that was going on with this cathedral construction. So I'm not surprised.
The steps being taken by the president, one of them is the dissolution. It was done as at 1st May of the secretariat that was formed at the presidency. Then further steps are being taken to also dissolve the board of trustees, because it was set up in a manner where you have to take legal steps to do that.
I think those measures are meant to stop the leakage of public funds into the corrupt pockets of the people associated with the cathedral issue.
And you just highlighted also the forensic audits. You said President Akuffo Addo has a criminal conduct case to respond to.
Yes. Look, when Pepra, Sipayanki, and Ibrahim Adam were convicted of causation of financial loss to the state, the law initially had included recklessness in the dissipation of public funds. Parliament then removed the element of recklessness. Afre reinstituted the concept of recklessness as another ambit for prosecuting these people. And that recklessness was defined in terms of the series of meetings that took place between the accused persons and the principal perpetrator, that is that lady in the U.S. Thereby, even the mere meeting was reinterpreted as conspiracy, which to me was a wrong law. But so far, the victims, and I call them victims, Pepra, Sipayanki, and Ibrahim Adam, did not go for a review of the High Court decision. So the law stands. There is clear evidence of intention to cause financial loss to the state on the part of Akuffo Addo and all those people who are associated with it. Then there have been breaches of our national procurement law. Some of the contracts were of an international nature, and they should have gone to Parliament for ratification. They didn't do that. Then there is the lies being told by Oforiatta, taking money out of Parliament to finance this dream of Akuffo Addo without parliamentary approval. And when asked, he put it to a statement in the budget that says that you have a contingency fund. So he didn't take it from the contingency fund, but he took it from the contingency vote. All these are cost-wallops. These people are criminals, and they should be made to pay for it. The discrepancies in the accounting system of the cathedral is also ground for prosecution, because there was real intention. It was not even reckless action. It was just intentional. And in criminal law, all you have to prove is that the actions took place and they were actuated by malice.
Oh. Having said that, this is the response of the board of the National Cathedral Trustees. In fact, we note with concern that the press conference held is not a full disclosure because it focused mainly on the management letter and not the actual audit reports for 2020-2023. This is rather strange. The press conference was skewed towards queries in the management letter, totally disregarding the detailed responses of the board. The queries and the responses form the content of the management letter, which was in the possession of the minister. So they're saying that the story being told does not take into consideration the justification explanations that were given for some of the things that were raised in the report.
What explanations do you need when there is a discrepancy between an amount paid to a contractor and the actual reported expenditure? These people are criminals, including all the priests, the clergy who were involved. They are all criminals. And they shouldn't get away with it. What is disputable about the fact that you didn't go for procurement ratification? Is it difficult to surmise that you wanted to avoid legal accountability? You've sinned against the procurement law. And we've seen people who have sinned against the procurement law go to jail. And these clergy people who were involved should be sanctioned. And there is this bit about donations made by private entities which have not been accounted for.
Yeah.
That one too should be uncovered by the
Okay, Abuzawene and Sama Ekoso, our political highway, so a year suspended Chief Justice Torkonoo, ono NHS ECOWAS High Court judges for Addo penny expose ato abonten enye asem kitu akrabeda mase samo je penny kokotisa ensemwe ede mi aha Ghana Politics Avenue. So subscribe like na share ma afofron so ensa into me enkabi medamase.